Now, today we were talking about the wildfire smoke from Canada essentially making its way out. But Nicole, any chance these fires to the west are going to bring more smoke to the area?
It was actually hard to say with that last batch of smoke we had because there are fires off into the southwest. Kind of got mixed up with that smoke from both Canada and the southwest. So I'm sure we had a good old mixture of it in the last couple days. But like you said, it's since been moved out and we don't have to deal with it. For now, I'm sure we'll get another batch before summer decides to end. For now, we're just focusing on a couple rain chances coming up and that summer heat and humidity that we have coming. As we go into tonight, there are some thunderstorms way off over into the Dakotas and moving into Minnesota now. They'll slowly be tracking through Minnesota tonight and possibly will bring some light impacts to your morning commute tomorrow. Looking fairly unlikely as these thunderstorms really start to break down once that sun rises. Early in the morning tomorrow, you can see them slowly starting to make their way through central Minnesota, but once that sun rises, we really start to lose a lot of that fuel that they're relying on. Even so, we could still see a couple light scattered showers, maybe even sprinkles as we go throughout the late morning hours, but the main impact is really going to be plenty of cloud coverage coming in tomorrow, and it's likely going to last all the way into the afternoon. Could maybe make a slight impact on our temperatures, but overall, we're still looking to stay somewhat warm out there, very comparable to where we were today. 85 for your high on Wednesday in La Crosse. 82 in Eau Claire, just that small chance for those morning showers for some of us. Otherwise, it's looking like we'll stay mostly dry, and again, plenty of cloud coverage, but still feeling those temperatures. It is going to get slightly breezy out there, especially in the afternoon hours, though. Here's our sustained wind speeds going throughout the entire day. Starting to feel them uptick into that breezy category once we get into the late morning. Definitely not gusty by any means, but once you start to see sustained winds above 10 miles an hour, you could start to see some gusts closer to around 20 at times. So very similar wind conditions to what we saw today, and they're still blowing out of the south. So that means they'll continue to bring warmer air as we go throughout the rest of the week. After tomorrow morning, rain chances are going to be staying similarly low for the rest of the week. We have a chance possibly going on for Thursday and Thursday night, mainly for folks far south of I-90, especially Thursday morning. Otherwise, it's really looking like we'll stay mostly dry until we get more widespread rainfall chances coming in as we go into Saturday and Saturday night as some thunderstorms potentially track across the area. That one we'll have to keep an eye on, especially if you have any weekend plans coming in for Saturday. Looking a little bit more likely that we could have some thunderstorm activity to start the weekend off. Until then, though, the temperatures are really the main story. Not feeling that warmth too much yet tomorrow, very comparable to where we were today. Starting to feel that uptick, though, as we go into Thursday. Highs reaching back into the upper 80s. Still, though, just a couple degrees above that average line. Friday is when you really start to feel it. Highs likely getting into the low 90s across most of the areas, still holding on to the upper 80s for Saturday as well, and that humidity is really going to stick around likely a little bit longer. You'll start to feel that dew point rising a little bit tomorrow, getting to be noticeable as they rise into the mid 60s. Once we get into Thursday and Friday, though, that's when it really starts to feel muggy because our dew points in both La Crosse and Eau Claire are going to be rising above 70 degrees, and even when the temperatures fall, the dew points will take a little bit longer to fall, so we'll likely feel very humid throughout the entirety of the weekend, maybe even holding on to a little bit of that humidity going into the start of the week, but it should start to decrease as we get towards most of next week. And then temperatures don't really fall too much, but they'll be staying out of the 90s at least for the start of next week, and it looks like we'll be staying for what feels like August for almost the next week or so. So we don't really have that cool down, but it's not the 90s forever, so that's a good one.
That's a big positive
yes.
right there. Thanks, Nicole.